Well, talking about left-wing rabble-rousers, let's hear from the governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, doing all he can to lower the temperature. Of course, I jest.
We have got children in Minnesota hiding in their houses, afraid to go outside. Many of us grew up reading that story of Anne Frank. Somebody's going to write that children's story about Minnesota. And there's one person who can end this now.
I don't even know what to say to that. CJ, what's your response to that sort of rhetoric from Governor Walz?
You know, I've never met someone more low IQ than Tampon Tim there. You know, when I hear him speak about this issue, it's so divorced from reality that I'm just kind of confused if we're watching the same situation here. Minnesota children are scared to go outside. Well, if they're scared to go outside because ICE is outside, that's probably because they're an illegal alien. Do you think I'm scared to go outside? No, because I was born in Georgia, a U.S. state. And so here's the thing. ICE is going after criminal illegal aliens, some of the worst, rapists, murderers, people, assaulters, all of those things. And so, no, if you're scared to go outside because ICE is outside, then that's actually kind of the point. So we're not going to apologize for that.
Now, some businesses in Minneapolis are boarding up their shops. They are ready for more violence from these so-called protesters, so-called peaceful protesters from segments of the media call them, CJ. President Trump has sent border czar Tom Homan to Minnesota. Tell me more about that.
You know, Tom Homan is the consummate professional. He's someone that has been well regarded, not just on the right, but also on the left. It was President Obama who gave him an award for his service in helping aid the deportation operations during his administration. And so I think that, you know, if there's anyone that these folks will like to pretend that they're working with, it will probably be Tom Homan. And I think that he's going to bring a lot of order on the ground, a lot of professionalism to it. And so I'm excited to see this development. But I think that what's important to note is that we cannot let up. We cannot give in. That's exactly what they want us to do. Again, we have a mandate. We must act on it to keep the American people safe and to keep our country intact in terms of our sovereignty, in terms of our border, and the operations that folks are leading at DHS. Folks like Tom Homan is a critical linchpin in all of that.
You made an interesting point there. Tom Homan, these days, the left treat him like, as they treat every conservative or anyone on the Trump administration, as some fascist. But he was being awarded medals by Barack Obama for his service, doing a very similar role to what he's doing right now. And whilst he was doing it for the Obama administration, he was a hero in the eyes of the media. But now he is being smeared in the most ridiculous fashion.
You know, you're exactly right. It reminds me a lot of the way in which, you know, a lot of these leftist organizations treat President Trump when he was just a celebrity or a reality TV star or a billionaire businessman. The NAACP was giving him awards alongside Rosa Parks. Then all of a sudden, when he ran for president, he was, you know, a vowed white supremacist, Ku Klux Klansman in name only. It's absolutely insane, but it goes to show these people actually don't really care about the truth. They don't care about facts. They'll call you a racist just because it's convenient, not because it's true.
Now, before you go, CJ, there's no doubt that ICE's public image is taking a battering because this sort of coverage is relentless. But there are polls out, and another one came out yesterday showing that the majority of Americans support the Trump administration's deportation of illegal immigrants. I suspect the real figure there is considerably higher, CJ, but according to this latest poll, 52% against 42% who are opposed support illegal immigrants being deported.
Yeah, you know, it's a clear majority. And, you know, historically, we've seen polls, you know, underrepresent the president and his supporters. And so I think that number actually is a lot higher than you would imagine. And so, again, I think that the president needs to march on and continue to do the work that he pledged to do when he was running for president, which was to bring law and order and to secure our southern border. Under President Joe Biden, we had no border. Under President Trump, we have a border that is safe and secure. That's exactly what the American people voted for. And I'm glad to see it.
CJ Pearson, thank you so much for your time.
Good to see you, my friend.